Have you ever dreamed of an experience with a phone that combines an iPhone's simplistic approach to software with Android's in-depth customizable capabilities? That package can be had in the phone you see before you. This is the Google Pixel 3 XL, and I'm that friendly geek guy to review it. Alright, let's start with the most noticeable part of this phone, the notch. Any and every reviewer has talked about it, and I'm no exception. My honest opinion is that I don't really mind it. Yeah, it's there, it's big, and to some people that's a disfigure, that's a deal breaker. But to me, a phone is function over form, and that's exactly the bill that the 3XL fits. It's jam-packed with software and hardware that more than make up the difference for its non-symmetrical face. That notch houses the two front-facing cameras, more on those later, and the second stereo front-firing speaker that doubles as the earpiece. The rest of the design is beautifully simple. The rounded edges make this behemoth of a phone quite comfortable to hold, but is slippery without some form of protection. The frame is reinforced by aluminum. The glass front and back is a welcome iteration from last year's design, as well as the frosted portion of the back that, yes, will scratch very easily, which is why for most of the review you'll see the phone in a dbrand skin. Honestly, I had never tried dbrand up to this point, and I'm not sponsored by them, but so far I am loving having my Pixel protected in red. The skins just take a bit of time and a hairdryer to set up, and their friendly robots will give you all the help you need. Do check them out below, they don't just do phones. Moving on to what you'll be feasting your eyes upon every day, the Samsung Amoled Panel that pushes this phone's pixels, pun intended, is saturated, crisp, and eye-pleasing. It's certainly no screen you'll see on an actual Galaxy device, but it's pretty nonetheless. I have had a bit of issue with the brightness that other reviewers have talked about. This phone does have to kick up the nits to make this sunlight viewable. I recommend using darker wallpapers and dark modes in apps when available. That aggressive screen ramping contributes to the phone's average battery life. I'm getting better battery life than I expected, especially for a phone with this screen size, but it's nothing that will blow out any competitors. Expect a ballpark of about 4 hours of screen on time. Most of the average battery life can be more than forgiven with a welcome addition of wireless charging and fast charging with a white USB Type-C block included in the box. Personally, I would like to see a black brick cord and earbuds in the box since I have the just black model, but that's a minor pet peeve that's redeemed by other niceties. The interface you'll be dealing with every day is light, snappy, and after getting used to a few changes coming from a nougat phone, very intuitive. 4 gigs of RAM in a phone from late 2018 does appear a bit skimpy, but paired with a Snapdragon 845 and near-stock Android, it's been a challenge to find something that makes this phone trip over itself. It's also the easiest version of Android I've ever used. I said at the front of this review that if you want the simplicity that iPhones offer, this is the part where you'll find it. Google doesn't implement useless apps that you won't use, games you won't play, and an onboard assistant you'll never utilize. Everything is Google-based, it's straightforward, and it syncs with absolutely no fuss. Well done, Google. I've also had no issues with speed on opening apps, downloading over Wi-Fi, or over the network that Google chose and the network I am proud to be a part of, Verizon. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but me and my family have had them for years, and they truly are the fastest in the business. Storage hasn't been forgotten either. 64 spacious gigs is what you get as standard on both the little and big versions of this Pixel, with a 128 gig option available. I have the latter. Even if you do shoot for the smaller and cheaper option, all Pixel 3s get unlimited Google Photos storage at original resolution until 2022, so take full advantage of that to free up as much space from your gallery as you want. Okay guys, you know what you're here for, the camera. There's no beating around the bush. Google has once again showed us that you don't need extra cameras to take a better photo, and the Pixel once again delivers the most accurate photos of the year. The rear 12.2 megapixel with the f1.8 aperture delivers crisp, bang-on photos that don't oversaturate, balance light perfectly, and retain detail that other phones can only dream of. Look, I may not be a professional photographer, but I have a good eye for spotting differences, and this phone will best any mainstream phone camera out right now, and it will just soar past them when you give them any sort of low light or fast-paced challenge. The two front-facing cameras that come on both the 3 and 3XL are both 8 megapixels, with the normal camera being a wide f1.8 aperture sensor, and the secondary camera being an ultra-wide 97-degree lens with an f2.2 aperture. That allows the user to choose either a high-quality selfie even in challenging light, or a lens to fit any friends you may or may not have into the frame without having to break anyone's personal bubble. The app that powers the cameras is quick to launch, easy to use, and yes, it does have a double power button press launcher, which is as useful as it sounds. Extra points for that. As with any phone, however, there are drawbacks. My phone somehow in the quick toggles menu switched the Bluetooth and do not disturb symbols, even though their names and functionality remain perfectly intact. A restart fixed this. I'm also really not a fan of how this phone only supports fast wireless charging on the $80 Pixel stand or Belkin certified chargers at time of this review. Come on, Google. And, of course, let's take a moment of silence for the loss of our dear friend, the headphone jack. But to be fair, this wasn't on the last Pixel either, and it hasn't been as big of a deal as I thought it would be. But for all the kinks, annoyances, and minor bugs, there is a lot to enjoy about the Pixel 3. Even the simple things like the super clicky buttons, fast and accurate fingerprint sensor, and the squeeze to launch Google Assistant have been invaluable. This phone just perfectly blends a no-frills and no-gimmick software experience with all the logical and spectacular options you expect to find in an Android phone. And it takes a lot to please me if a phone doesn't seem to have many customization options. Now, at a starting price of $799, this isn't going to be the phone set up to be the deal of the century. And if you splurge on the XL 128GB option I have, you'll be looking at a phone that is right up there with the base Note 9. But you get a lot of thoughtful thinking with this phone. It was designed to be simple and be something that isn't a burden, and that's exactly what it presented itself to me as. It's not a burden. It's a friendly, smart, and thorough companion that gives me the vast ecosystem of Google when I need it, and silence when I don't. It is certainly on my recommend list, seeing at the time of this review, you can get it $100 off at Best Buy. Link below for those who are interested. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up here. Did I cover everything? Are there questions you want answered? Drop a comment below and I'll talk to you. If this video just didn't give you the satisfaction you wanted, that's okay. That's what the dislike button is there for. But if you did enjoy it, hit a like and maybe drop a compliment in the comments. Any form of encouragement is greatly appreciated, as I would love to do something like this for a living someday. Thanks to all of you for watching, and don't be afraid to get geeky. I'll see you guys later.